Okay, so we are going to learn some synthetic division. Synthetic division has to be some of my favorite math to do. It's just so fun once you get into the flow of it. And I'm going to start off with an easy polynomial and go from there. So let's just start with x squared minus 10x plus 21. And I'm going to divide that by x minus 3. Okay, so the way we do this is we take this number, it's the opposite. So if you have a minus 3, you're going to put a positive 3 in this box. Okay? Then we're going to write down all our coefficients from our polynomial. So we have a 1 here, a negative 10, so don't forget that sign, that minus sign is a negative, and a plus 21. So I have a 1, negative 10, and a 21, and I'm going to draw a line like this. Alright, so here's what we do first. First, you bring down the first coefficient. So I'm just going to bring down a 1. Then we go ahead and multiply 1 times 3, which is 3, and I'm going to put that right here. And then we add these. So negative 10 plus 3 is negative 7. Then we go ahead and multiply the negative 7 times 3, and we put it right here, and we get negative 21. 21 plus negative 21 is 0. So because there's a 0 in this box, that means there is no remainder. Yay, that makes me happy because that makes it really easy. So what we have left here is 1 and negative 7. So the way we do this is we start adding x's backwards. So the last letter is your C in a sense, because like your A, B, it's not letting me write it, which is great, C. So the last letter is like your C, so it has no x. Then the next one would have 1x. And if we had more, the next one would be x squared, x cubed, etc. And we'll do some like that. But see how this one didn't have an x, and we're going backwards. So we're starting from right to left. And so our answer here is actually just, and you know, this got a little bit messy, so I'm just going to erase a tiny bit if you don't mind. Our answer here is actually just x minus 7. So because of that 1 in front, you didn't have to have it there, just like we didn't have the 1 up here. So your answer is x minus 7. So when you divide x squared minus 10x plus 21 by x minus 3, you get x minus 7. Alright, let's try another one. Okay, so here we have 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 divided by x plus 2. So I'm going to set it up again. In this little box, I should have the opposite of this. So I should have negative 2. And I'm going to write down all my coefficients. And I have 2, 3, negative 2. We're going to draw our happy little box. I made that a little too small. Just going to go ahead and erase that. And here we go. I just like to leave room. So first thing we do is we're going to go ahead and bring down our 2. And we're going to multiply it. Put that there. 3 plus negative 4, negative 1. Then we're going to multiply negative 1 times negative 2. And we get positive 2. So plus negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So once again, we have no remainder. And we're going to count backwards. This one does not have any variable. And we're going to add an x here. And it already has a minus 1 sign, so we don't have to put a plus or a minus. So our answer ends up being 2x minus 1. I'm just going to rewrite that for some clarity. It gets a little ugly. And that's what our answer is when we divide 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 divided by x plus 2. So let's check our work. How do we check our work? So we take what we divided by, and we take our answer, and we just FOIL them. So if you remember foiling, so we have x plus 2 times 2x minus 1. And I'm just going to make sure we end up with the same answer. So we have 2x squared plus 4x minus 1x minus 2. And you'll see that's 2x squared, combine like terms, plus 3x, minus 2. So we do end up with the same answer, and that's how we check it. So now let's try to do one that has a little bit of a greater answer. So we're not just with x, maybe we'll throw in some x squareds, and also in a remainder. So we're going to do that all together. Okay, so we have 3x cubed minus 10x squared plus 4x minus 1 divided by x plus 1. So let's just get right to it. We're going to take the opposite, negative 1, put it in our box, and then write down all our coefficients. So 3, negative 10, 4, negative 1. The last coefficient gets boxed off because whatever ends up in this box is going to be our remainder. So now we bring down the 3, and we have 3 times negative 1, and we get negative 3. Negative 10 plus negative 3 is negative 13. Negative 1 times negative 13 is positive 13. And we end up with 17. Then we do it again. Negative 1 times 17 is negative 17. And we end up with negative 18. Negative 18 is our remainder. And I'll show you exactly how to write it. So we're going to look at this. I'm just going to erase to make some room here. This top part, if you don't mind, because I want to show you exactly how to write this answer. So we're going to work backwards, starting on this side. So 17 will have no variable. Okay. Then we have negative 13 is going to have an x. So no variable, x, and then the next one, you guessed it, x squared. So we have 3x squared minus 13x and plus 17, since 17 is positive. Now what do we do with the remainder? We put it at the end, we put minus 18, but we don't just leave it as minus 18, we put it over our original number, our original polynomial that we were dividing by. We were dividing by x plus 1, so it's 18 over x plus 1. So this whole thing here is your answer. You have 3x squared minus 13x plus 17 minus 18 over x plus 1. Some people like to just parentheses it. I mean, it's up to you how you want to write it. It's correct either way. So that is what happens when you have a remainder, and that is how you count when you have more than just, x minus 2. Now there's one more thing to know with synthetic division. So in this equation, 2x cubed minus 10x plus 4 divided by x minus 2, you know that I'm missing an x squared. It's like I jumped a place. I went 2x cubed to 10x, and usually it's in order, a descending order. So if I jump a place, I still have to account for that place while doing synthetic division. So I'm going to show you exactly what I mean here. I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it as a 2. I have my 2. And so now I have 2x cubed. Now, there should be an x squared there, right? So we're going to assume, we're assuming that we have 0x squared. Okay? So I'm going to put a 0 here because I want to, it's like a placeholder. I want to hold that place. Okay, so now that we've accounted for that, we can put our negative 10, our 4, we're going to do our little thing. So I accounted for my missing spot. So anytime you're doing synthetic division, if there's a missing descending exponent, so if you're going 2x to the 4th plus 2x squared, if you're missing that x cubed, you have to account for that spot by putting a 0. It's like having 0x cubed, just like we had 0x squared here. So I'm just going to continue to do what I was doing before. Bring down a 2, multiply it, and have a 4, 4, and have an 8. Negative 10 plus 8 is negative 2. And this actually ended up working out perfectly without me trying to. There is absolutely no remainder. Oh my gosh, that never happens to me. It's so fantastic. We're going to write this out. It becomes no variable here. I put a little no variable, an x and an x squared. So we end up with 2x squared plus 4x minus 2. So that is our answer. That is the messiest page I've seen in a very long time. Just going to delete it all. Okay. So our answer is that. So I hope that really helped get an intro to synthetic division. Definitely do a lot more practice problems, and it's just going to become so much easier the more you do. All right, I hope that helped. Bye.